Hey guys, how's it going? It's Chris here from VengeanceBooks.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at some notes. I have a whole pile. If you looked at if you watched one of my videos before, then you'll see that I had like folders of little like scraps of notes and stuff like that. And we're not gonna look at all of them because we would be here for hours, but we're gonna just kind of grab some random notes, flip open some pages, and just kind of read some things that I might find interesting. So I want to say right away, spoilers. Even though this is non-canon, there's concepts and ideas in here that did lead to things in the books. So if you haven't, read any of the books, just don't watch this video. Anything I say here is to be considered non-canon. It's just gonna be fun to look at where the ideas stemmed from. So I don't even. This is in no order at all. Right here we have a Thursday dinner specials menu from my work where I did like a little Tansu doodle, little faces, little random sketches, whatever, and then the note says Tansu snorts when she laughs, just a character detail. And this is also going to be really hard for me to read some of this. This is somebody saying having no expectations in life is almost worse than being pressured by expectations. Without the expectation, I lack direction. So I guess that was just something I wanted to have a character or some idea of what I wanted to have the character say at a point. I have no idea. It's me doing a little doodle for like a top-down view of the school or something. I don't know what that was about. A lot of these notes in here are very long and have a lot of like quotables and stuff like that in there. I'm more interested in some of like the really small handwritten notes that I had that I was writing like back at work. This is very old. This is where I was trying to figure out character stats and abilities and like what constituted. So this is like very origin of like card game stuff. Like this isn't actually none of this was actually based around card game stuff, but it was more of a like the kernel of a concept of like strength, defense, power, stamina, mind, and trying to figure out characters' stats, which inevitably would translate to the card game. And then like I have and there's Chrism's stats, and then effective range, like stuff like that. None of those numbers are really accurate to anything. Destro, Felix, a lot of stuff there. Magcrow. Here's me breaking down what each stat is made of, or what each ability is made of. So like strength is broken down into physical strength, standard melee effectiveness, and blah blah blah. Everything had a point total that equaled out to 50 or whatever. There's a little kind of like cute chibi version of Sin doodled in here. Just like a little dude, little crusty fuck. I'm constantly just like doodling eyes. Just always like a little eye sketch somewhere. Don't know why. Another one right there. If you're wondering why I'm looking up here, it's because that's where I have OBS, so I can see what I'm showing you to make sure it's in frame. Here's a really random page of me trying to come up with like a channel logo with like a skull, a gear in the head to show like my brain's always thinking, or a cog rather, the L logo. Here's a layout of Alex's apartment. Only took 40 pages to get there. So here's an idea that I wrote down about trying to do like a commercial or like a new advertisement. So it was going to be a voiceover from Alice saying it all starts the same. Innocence is fragile and easily twisted. A mask is donned in absence of security. Depraved, hungry, they wait for their cries to be understood. A thirst is in the air. Insatiable and electric. No matter the stories, truth, or lies, it always has and will begin with blood. So it was going to be that as like a voiceover, at least, until I refined it. That was the first draft of that, whatever. Then there was going to be some B-roll scene shots, trees, dirt roads, sky, sunset, etc. Pool of blood, footsteps in. This is like the shot composition. Pool of blood, footsteps into the blood, pan up to leg, stop at the hand, claws dripping blood. More scenic shots. I was playing this with Sam being, with my ex being the character actor. Sam from behind, the back of the head. Distance, sitting, walking through trees. Drop of blood falls from a claw. Next angle, drop falls into the pool. Cut to some innocent scene. Stitched lips, grit teeth, eyes, purple. That's all I had. A little doodle of noodle. A noodle doodle. I don't even know how I expect me to read this. I can read some of it, but a lot of it is just gibberish. Oh, these are just random phrases and stuff right here. I wrote stricken by painful remembrance, just something that whatever popped into my head or was inspired by something. A dull needle driven into her eyes gets more intense as she gets close to the bathroom. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I had to shake the notion that this was just some abandoned spooky house. It was hers, so that's, yeah, Tatsu going into Kim's house. Her malice is persuasive. Every feeling in my bones tells me to lash out. Alice will consume nearly, oh, this is just me saying an idea. Alice will consume nearly half of her soul to grow, but she needs to take in Kim. Oh yeah, that was an idea. Change the starting dream from her walking along the side of the road in book 2 to see her dad, to meet with her dad and then walk to see Kim. Change that dream to Tatsu on stage, singing/playing an instrument, as I guess she sees, trying to read it and decipher. At a point, she sees her mom, her dad, and Kim out in the audience until all the spotlights go out, and then there's no one out there, and it's just her, and then the lights all go out. Here's the note saying Tatsu was able to bring the unicorn head with her the second time to convince Kim. Alice's movements are choppy, ungraceful. Here's me. I was like writing down some notes here, and then I would cross off ones I wasn't going to use or didn't use at the time, and then I put a check mark next to ones I did use. Interesting. Spirit rising like heated mercury. Chirping crickets outside before Chrism shows up. Okay, that's enough for like book 2 stuff. I want to get into older stuff. Random pieces of paper. I've been here for a little while. I'm going to cut a lot of that down, but let's just try to grab a random piece of paper, a random little note like this, and just see if I can read what it says. So these are mostly going to be pertaining to book 1, and I mean like 2013 kind of thing. And this is, again, a lot of this is me trying to figure out lore, trying to figure out characters, trying to create them based on nothing. A lot of these characters, a lot of these notes are for characters that have absolutely no history and no thought put into them, like Sin. I didn't know anything about Sin, didn't know anything about Chrism, still figuring things out about Kim. So a lot of what I'm going to read, you're going to be like, well, yeah, obviously, but like this is me figuring that stuff out. Note says, Sin can't kill humans because of his god power, but Chrism can, since she has less and she has more human/Tuffle. That part of her power is corrupted by the Tuffle. Sin wanted to use the earth as a way to implement pain. He likes to see the limitations of human souls, experiment with people. Sin wanted to harvest hatred, but the other demons wanted to swallow humans, destroy all of them. Sin wanted to preserve them and play. It's just a game to him. So this is when Sin was maybe a demon. A little note right here. What does it say? Alice almost calls Tatsu... Oh, this is the book 2 note? Alice almost calls Tatsu Kim, but stops herself and says kid instead. So she goes to say Kim, but goes kid. I think I used that at some point. Kim did not absorb other Tuffle energy in the ditch. Instead, she was reunited with the augments... Oh, it looks like it says augments, but fragments of her soul that were sent there, but these pieces had already been fused with Tuffle power, giving Kim her own abilities. Also, the Tuffle part of Kim's soul latches on to Tatsu, binding them. Kim does not feed off Tatsu's soul when she kills, only if she kills a human. With Alice, she has a full Tuffle form. With Kim, she has one blue eye, one purple with her when her power is accessed. Okay, so this is me trying to figure out if Kim and Tatsu... I guess this is a note for Kim and Tatsu being in the same body together, which is what I'm writing right now, and like how Kim would have potential powers going into that, whatever have you. So who knows what I used from this. A human soul can only be absorbed by the last Tuffle that inflicted damage. When a Tuffle attacks, they unknowingly inflict a leech effect, which attaches to the body. Acting as a medium for the soul absorption, the leech wears off. Though Kim did not kill her dad, she still absorbed his energy because of the prior attacks, which is me trying to figure out, oh, well, if Alice, because Alex originally was just like, all right, Alice was twisted and like she stabbed him and cut him. Yeah, she beat him, but she didn't give the final blow, and she basically was just like, do it, fucking kill yourself, do it, pussy. And then he does, but that's just like, well, she didn't kill him, so how does she absorb his power? Because they have a leech effect where like the last Tufo to damage them kind of like inflicts like a darkness on them that kind of like links them together as long as they die within a certain amount of time of getting that last attack. So I was trying to figure that out. Chrism moved all the Tufo who died in a human during Sin's death. She moved their residual energy back to the ditch. She wants to reforge Alice in the ditch because Alice can no longer get stronger by killing Tufo, so she used the unfinished and dead Tufo to power her up. When they get Kim out, they use all the energy in the ditch to empower Kim's body and give Alice strength. A lot of these are more recent than I thought. I gotta get to them. Oh, Melody, age 8, if you know Melody Sinclair, or Minerva, left behind by her parents on an out-of-state camping trip when Sin wiped all memories of Melody. Sin found her lost and alone. He wiped all memories of Melody from her parents. Sin found her lost and alone, told her if she comes with him, he'd find her parents, gave her a tuffle as an experiment to see how young he could start with the tuffle. Her body couldn't handle it, and she died, and so did the tuffle. But no, that's not what I did. She mutated. This one has a star next to it. What if they use Kim's body for Alice, and they couldn't use it to host Kim when she is revived, because once the soul leaves the body, it cannot, I don't know what that says, it cannot return to it. But a tuffle is designed to live in a soulless body. Their essence preserves it if they are strong enough. So me having that first idea. Here's a little note that's just like, oh, if Alice was whole in her own body, she would lose the stitches, but she would have these like lines on her mouth where the stitches were, because that was an attribute of Kim and her issues. Here's a little random note. This is from Tansu's perspective. The horror I felt when I returned only to find you had stopped breathing. I can't read that. I can't read what the rest of that says. Look at this. I'm going to try to read that note. Dream. Tansu taking Alice. Tansu is kneeling over Kim's dead body, but it appears to be in good condition, but she lifts the shirt to reveal a pit in her chest. The pit is full of maggots. She starts to scoop them out, digging for the anima. When she finds it, she grabs it and begins to remove it, but Alice's hand shoots out from Kim's chest, trying to pull Tansu in. So that was like a dream sequence idea I had. When Tansu gets Alice, Chrism wants to see just how much of her power is suppressed, so she has Macro spar with her. First encounter of the demon, it's Chrism that fights because Tansu was not ready. Chrism's rigid body relaxed and swayed, dodging attacks seamlessly blurred. Seemingly blurred. A lot of Book 2 stuff. I want to look at some Book 1 stuff. Alright. Oof. Yeah, you know this is an old one because all the text is smudged to hell. Alright. Chrism lends power to Kim for a final move. Nobody knows anything about Chrism, other than that she was the first. This is a note that says, Sin is no different than the ones who hurt us. He needs to be eliminated. So I assume that's from Chrism. I cannot read that. I can't read it. Alright, what do these say? Pleading all alone, the demons rest. Leaving me here with thoughts of heaven, hell, or what's left. That unintentionally rhymed. One in the chamber with a broken safety, a spent shell in your future. If you don't stop, I'll go to the cops. I'm so sick of being treated like garbage. That's from Kim to her dad. Her dad stitched her mouth to keep her from telling people what he's done. Early idea. Get rid of him saying never lie, replace it with something about going to the cops. Why do you hate me so much? Doesn't hate her, she just reminds him of her mom, a spitting image, can't stand to see her face. End fight, Kim figures out it was Sin who controlled her dad. He amplifies emotion. he really does love her, but she killed him. Part of the original deal that Kim was going to make with Sin to save Tansu's life in very, very, very early versions of Book 1 was that Sin was going to have to, like, divulge a bunch of plot. Tansu asks Kim, will you be my sister? Confided, Tansu's house was quaint. Loose, dangling fly sheet hung in the kitchen, speckled with variety of bugs. Not to Tansu's house, but I think that was at her house. On the trail, describe the carpet-like mossy ground she rests on, the light shining through the trees. Tansu asks Kim why she cares so much. Kim replies with, I could ask you the same. Kim looks at her as a sister, someone she can count on. It's hard to explain. I hear you and I agree. Just really early developmental stuff. When she goes back to the house, she thinks back on how scared she was going into the basement alone. Then just the word precipice, because it's a great word. No deal. She blacks out and kills Sin, or Chrism helps kill him. Chrism is there, standing above Kim. I don't know what that is. Alice says she was premature. Sin hadn't moved. Something. That's why Kim got to name her. After her mom explains how Tansu likes her, next day Kim looks at Tan and thinks about what her mom said, how she strives to be like her, independent. Move Stacy picking on Tansu after the time jump to before Kim's dad is killed. That's why I establish the way Tansu looks up to Kim. Okay, so I was gonna have Stacy pick on Tansu earlier and have Kim finally stand up for Tansu, but never standing up for herself. And that's why Tansu established a better bond and looked up to Kim more. That way, when Kim does kill her dad, there's more of a relationship there. Maybe introduce Joey during Kim getting dunked in the toilet, saves her. I was looking for you to borrow notes. Glad I found you. Gives her paper towels to dry off. Okay, so that's pretty canon. Take Alice Ascend, change her hair slightly, add blue highlights. Blue highlights to Alice's Ascend hair? Change eye design, add like burns and scarring. Okay. Chrism tells Kim she will find and terminate evil. Kim says, but you will be all alone. She responds, perhaps not. Oh, this is after Sin. So she's like, what are you going to do now? Turns to Tansu at the graveyard, extends a hand. Would you like to help me purify this earth? And offers a deal to Tansu to help her. Okay. Maybe to end epilogue, Tansu is at gravesite and sees Chrism and Alice, apparently standing side by side together. Then ends. Chrism and Alice are one? I don't know what that says. When Tansu is at Kim's house and gets the thing from the mirror, she learns a lot about what happened. Draw Chrism with the burnt half being Alice. Okay, I don't know what I was on there. Stars above and stars below. A day where my mind was set to autopilot. If you destroy the ring, my soul will be forced to rest, but if you put it on again, my soul will be forced into you. Just decide. If you choose neither, I will be stuck in here. That's where one of the alternate endings was, not alternate, but one of the extended endings was Kim being, her soul being trapped in a ring. There's a lot of ring stuff with me. No, it just says, Stacy says Kim and Tansu are gay. So you guys are gay. Stop being so gay. Here's some other shit. Chrism is living inside her own dead body. Her healing ability only accelerates what her body already did, meaning the scars would remain, hence her stiff and slow movements, but she can move very fast using reserve Sin's energy to flow, but this drains her. Euphoria would be the name of the rift place, like the white sandy area, or Nihil after Nihility. What if Sin was the ferryman in the underworld, but reclaimed the soul's energy and abandoned his duties? This is literally written on a napkin. A literal napkin. What does it say? Chrism to Tatsu. It seems fate is not finished with us yet. Glad I wrote that on a napkin. Sin deals with humans lasts until they die, so he employed Chrism to kill them early. He was forbidden to do so himself. But the deal involving Kim's mom was broken because he was not collecting her soul, he was collecting Kim's. When Kim's dad tried to run, he broke the deal. Fix in books, resend to something. Okay. I do that all the time now too, where I just write a little annotation for myself, like, hey, make sure you do this. Like, fix this. Yeah, that's why I wrote it down, asshole, because I'm gonna fix it. Chrism cannot bear the thought of Kim dying without knowing the truth, but she was too afraid to tell her at her death. Felix takes long pauses when he talks. Macro is fast and smiling. Macro almost calls Alice Reyes. Macro survives Sin's death. Maybe Chrism nurtured his stone with Sin's power. Here's an idea. Sin was a crossroads demon, making deals at the crossroads, but also making his own deals on the side, taking the souls he bargained for his own power. When this was discovered, he was banished to the human world. Soon he found Chrism, burnt in her home, and granted her a portion of his own power. After her resurrection, he set his sights on growing his power and an army to keep this world under his control and rule over the demons who cast him aside. Sin believes that the only purpose behind humans are their souls. They should be harvested. Chrism wants to restore the balance by her and Alice destroying the evil humans and other demons. Sin let children with personal gripes murder freely. They will not be biased. Sure. Got like a different little note paper. Might have been one of my nanas. When she jerks forward from the dream, she rips off sticky pads, sets off small alarm, doctors come in. Suction cups monitor brainwaves due to large gash. Oh, this is Tatsu waking up in the hospital. Luckily, they didn't have to cut any hair to get to the cut. IV hooked up. Made a deal with the ferryman, obtained a pool of water from the river Styx as the ditch. Sin contracted lesser demons besides Tuffle. Lust made herself appear as a monster, but it was a demon pet she controlled. Sin acquired Earth in deals. Now that he's gone, the others will return. Oh, this is Sin explaining how his power works. If there is appeal, I can turn it to love. If there is irritance, can turn it to a boiling hatred. If there is a spark, I can ignite a fire. This says, Macro's powers, he can manifest energy over the palm of his hand, like a shield or a skeletal layer over his fist for punching, which I actually use that shield thing. There's like a little barrier shield in front of your hand. I use that for Destro, where he like manifests a small layer of energy. Or he makes a large fist with fingers pointing to the center of each finger, making energy to form a ball in the center. He can throw it at it, hit someone directly. I don't know. Oh, Tansu would be a huge target for other demons, being a human with two souls. So Chrism uses leftover Tuffle energy in the ditch and fills in the missing chunks of Kim's soul, giving her power. Kim's soul is inherently powerful. Through experience, it has been toughened by malice and torture. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it right there. That was a lot of random notes. I will do this again at some point. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and I will see you guys later.